The perfect speech. Maya adjusted the small mirror propped against her textbooks, her reflection a jittery mess of dark curls and nervous eyes. Distinguished faculty, honored guests, fellow graduates. Her voice cracked, a pathetic squeak that echoed in the cramped bedroom. She cringed. This was supposed to be the perfect speech, the culmination of years of sweat and sacrifice. It was supposed to make her family proud. She glanced at the worn photograph taped to her desk. Her abuela, her hands calloused from years of working in the fields, her smile radiating pure, unwavering love. Abuela had always pushed Maya to excel, reminding her that education was the key to a better life, a life free from the backbreaking labor that had defined their family for generations. Taking a deep breath, Maya tried again. Distinguished faculty. This time, the words felt a little less foreign, a little less shaky. She envisioned the graduation ceremony, the sea of expectant faces, the proud smiles of her parents. Her stomach churned. Downstairs, the aroma of Abuela Elena's famous empanadas filled the air, a comforting scent that usually calmed Maya's nerves. Today, however, it only amplified the pressure. She could hear her mother chattering excitedly in Spanish, her father's deep laughter rumbling in response. They were so excited, so proud. She couldn't let them down. A gentle knock on the door startled her. "Maya, you okay in there? You've been practicing for hours," Sarah's voice chirped from the other side. "Come in," Maya mumbled, quickly shoving the mirror under a pile of papers. Sarah breezed in, a whirlwind of bright colors and boundless energy. "Whoa, you look like you've seen a ghost. Graduation jitters." Maya forced a smile. "Something like that. I just want everything to be perfect." Sarah perched on the edge of the bed, her eyes full of understanding. "Hey, you're going to be amazing. You're Maya Rodriguez, valedictorian extraordinaire." Besides, she added with a playful nudge, "we have bigger things to worry about. Like, what are we even going to do after this?" The question hung in the air, a heavy weight of unspoken anxieties and uncertain futures. Maya had been so focused on getting to this point, she hadn't really thought about what came next. Sarah, on the other hand, had always dreamed of traveling the world, maybe even becoming a photojournalist. "I don't know," Maya admitted, picking at a loose thread on her comforter. "Maybe I'll just stay here, get a job, help my parents." Sarah frowned. "Maya, you can't do that. You're too smart, too talented. You deserve to explore, to chase your dreams." Maya knew she was right, but the thought of leaving her family, of venturing out into the unknown, filled her with a quiet dread. "I'm just scared," she confessed. Sarah wrapped an arm around her shoulders. "Hey, we're scared together. We'll figure it out. Just promise me one thing, that you'll give that speech your all, and that you won't let fear hold you back from anything." Maya nodded, a surge of determination coursing through her veins. "I promise." Maybe, just maybe, she could do this. Maybe she could deliver the perfect speech, and maybe, just maybe, she could find the courage to embrace whatever the future held. A tumble on stage. The humid air hung thick, heavy with anticipation and the cloying sweetness of 1,000 gardenias woven into lace. Sunlight blazed through the gymnasium windows, turning the polished floor into a shimmering expanse. Maya fidgeted with the hem of her gown, the polyester clinging uncomfortably to her skin. Her heart hammered a frantic rhythm against her ribs, a counterpoint to the measured cadence of Principal Thompson's voice echoing from the podium. He droned on, as expected, about the virtues of hard work, the challenges that lay ahead, and the importance of giving back to the community. Maya only half listened, her mind a whirlwind of anxieties. Had she practiced her speech enough? Would her voice crack? What if she forgot everything she wanted to say? Principal Thompson's voice finally began to rise, signaling the end of his interminable introduction. He cleared his throat, the microphone amplifying the sound into a crackling boom. "And now," he announced, puffing out his chest, "it is my distinct pleasure to introduce this year's valedictorian, a young woman of exceptional intellect and unwavering dedication, Miss Maya Rodriguez." A wave of nausea washed over Maya as she stood, her legs suddenly feeling like overcooked spaghetti. The applause was a dull roar in her ears as she made her way toward the stage. Each step felt monumental, the distance between her and the podium stretching into an impossible length. She could feel the weight of 1,000 eyes on her, scrutinizing her every move. Reaching the steps leading up to the stage, she took a deep breath, trying to regain some semblance of composure. But in that moment, disaster struck. Her heel caught on the edge of the bottom step, and she stumbled, her arms flailing wildly as she fought to regain her balance. It was no use. With a strangled cry, Maya pitched forward, sprawling onto the stage in a tangle of limbs and graduation gown. The carefully arranged stack of note cards containing her speech scattered across the polished floor like fallen confetti. A gasp rippled through the audience, followed by an uncomfortable silence. Maya lay there for a moment, stunned and mortified, the scent of floor wax filling her nostrils. She could feel the heat rising in her cheeks, a burning blush that threatened to consume her. The world seemed to tilt on its axis, the bright lights of the gymnasium blurring into a dizzying swirl. This was it. Her worst nightmare had come true. Humiliation and broken glass. The microphone stand listed precariously, a jarring clang punctuating Maya's disastrous tumble onto the platform. An audible intake of breath swept through the crowd, swiftly followed by something infinitely more agonizing, stifled amusement. Not cruel, perhaps, merely a brittle, uneasy titter that mirrored the turmoil within her. Heat flared across her face. Her meticulously ordered notes, now scattered like frightened sparrows, became miniature epitaphs to the eloquent address she'd labored over. She knelt, her skin scraping against the splintered wood, her hands clumsy and uncooperative against the slick paper. Each faint crinkle of the misplaced cards felt deafening, each stifled chuckle a fresh wave of humiliation. "Maya, are you hurt?" Principal Thompson's voice thundered, amplified by the still-hot microphone. He appeared immense, a looming silhouette eclipsing the weak stage lights. Desperate to grasp at any remnant of poise, Maya reached for a fallen page. That's when she heard it, the sharp, fatal crack. A sickening sound of yielding plastic and shattered lens. Thompson recoiled, his features a study in horrified realization. "Good heavens, Maya. I am desperately sorry." She peered up at him, the world dissolving into a hazy blur. One lens of her spectacles was utterly demolished, the other fractured and askew. The frame was contorted into an impossible shape. Her sight wavered, rendering the rows of spectators even more remote and judgmental. My glasses," she managed, the words thick with the weight of unshed tears. It was more than just the eyewear. It was everything compounding in on her at once. The fall, the laughter, the decimation of her speech, culminating in this final, crushing indignity. Flustered, Principal Thompson stooped to retrieve the wreckage. "I'll replace them, Maya, I swear. The best available. Anything you desire." His tone was a hushed, anxious plea, as though words could somehow reverse the damage. But the damage was irrevocable. The laughter had ebbed, leaving in its wake a heavy, awkward quiet. All eyes bored into her, the valedictorian, now just the girl who had tripped, floundered, and now stood broken on the stage. Maya yearned to vanish, to seep into the floorboards and be completely engulfed. Instead, she drew a shaky breath, the scent of dust and shattered ambition stinging her nostrils. She had to rally herself. She had to utter something. Whispers of encouragement. Crimson bloomed on Maya's cheeks as she retreated, each footfall a heavy thud against the unbearable silence. The crowd's gaze felt like a physical weight, thick with pity, perhaps even derision. She sank into the unforgiving plastic seat beside Sarah, avoiding her friend's kind eyes. The lilies lay discarded, their pristine petals scattered like fallen snow, their once invigorating fragrance now cloying. "Maya," Sarah breathed, concern etched in her tone, her fingers finding Maya's. "Are you all right? That looked painful." A silent shake of the head was all Maya could manage. Painful was a gross understatement. Humiliation clawed at her. Devastation settled deep within. She yearned to vanish. "Hey," Sarah urged, a touch louder. "It's okay. Everyone stumbles. It's done. You're still valedictorian, remember? That hasn't changed." Maya squeezed her eyes shut, battling the threatening tears. Sarah's attempted solace only amplified the sting of what she'd lost. The envisioned triumph, the flawless delivery, now replaced by a clumsy pratfall and the echo of restrained applause. The ceremony continued its relentless march, a monotonous tide of names and obligatory accolades. Each graduate's triumphant walk, each burst of applause, felt like acid on raw skin. She fought to focus, to offer genuine support to her classmates. Yet her mind remained trapped in an endless loop of the fall, the audible gasps, the sheer mortification. Sarah's steady hand on her arm offered a small measure of grounding, yet even her boundless optimism couldn't penetrate the suffocating despair that had enveloped Maya. This was not the script she'd imagined. Graduation, meant to be a jubilant pinnacle, a launch pad to boundless possibilities, had devolved into a spectacle of shame, a blemish marring her proudest achievement. The future, once a beacon, now flickered with uncertainty, its light slowly fading. An unexpected award. The microphone stand wobbled precariously, a silent testament to her graceless descent. Murmurs rippled through the crowd, morphing into something softer. "Kinda?" Maya couldn't tell, her ears still ringing from the fall, her vision blurry without her glasses. Principal Thompson rushed back to the podium, his face a landscape of apologies. Oh dear, oh dear. "Maya, are you all right? Someone, please get her some water." He wrung his hands, his gaze darting nervously between Maya and the concerned faces in the audience. He cleared his throat. Perhaps we should move on with the ceremony and let Ms. Rodriguez gather herself." But before he could announce the next speaker, a different voice boomed through the speakers. "Actually, Principal Thompson, if I may." It was Mr. Abernathy, the head of the school board. He strode confidently to the microphone, a small, velvet box clutched in his hand. "Graduates, faculty, esteemed guests." He began, his voice resonant and warm. "Today we celebrate academic achievement, dedication, and perseverance. But sometimes life throws us curveballs. Sometimes we stumble, and it is in how we rise, how we face adversity, that our true character is revealed." Maya felt a prickle of unease. What was happening? Was this some elaborate, public dressing down for her clumsiness? Mr. Abernathy continued, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "Therefore, the school board has decided to present a special award this year. An award for courage, for resilience, for facing unexpected challenges with grace and determination. This year, the Courage Award goes to..." He paused, drawing out the suspense. "Maya Rodriguez." A stunned silence. Maya's jaw dropped. Courage? Her? For tripping? It felt absurd. Beside her, Sarah erupted. "Maya, that's you. Go on, girl." Sarah squeezed her hand, her eyes shining with excitement. "You deserve it. Now get up there and show them what you're made of." Maya hesitated. Her face burned. Her glasses were still askew, perched precariously on her nose. The thought of walking back onto that stage, of facing the sea of eyes, made her stomach churn. She wanted to disappear. "Maya, honey, it's okay," Principal Thompson whispered, his voice laced with genuine concern. "You don't have to if you don't want to." But Sarah wouldn't let it go. "Maya, think about it. They're recognizing you for being you. Imperfect, maybe a little clumsy, but strong. Now go get that award." She gave Maya another gentle shove towards the stage. "You got this." A new perspective. The metallic tang of blood filled Maya's mouth. Each step back to the stage felt like wading through treacle. Her vision swam, a kaleidoscope of blurry colors and fractured light where the world should have been. The fragments of her glasses crunched underfoot, mocking her. Principal Thompson intercepted her at the microphone, his face a mask of mortification. He gripped her arm, his touch surprisingly gentle. Maya, I'm so profoundly sorry. This wasn't supposed to happen. He cleared his throat, the microphone amplifying the sound into a booming rasp. There's been a misunderstanding. A terrible one. The Courage Award. It's not about athletic prowess or academic perfection. He paused, his gaze sweeping over the stunned audience. It's about resilience, about facing adversity with grace and determination, about getting back up when you fall. He squeezed Maya's arm again, his eyes pleading for understanding. And Maya, sweetheart, you just did that in front of everyone. A ripple of murmurs spread through the crowd. Some faces still wore expressions of bewilderment, but others softened with a dawning comprehension. Thompson took a deep breath. And now, I have a surprise for Maya. He gestured towards the side of the stage. A man in a crisp white coat emerged, holding a small velvet box. Dr. Albright from Clearview Optometry saw what happened and was so moved by Maya's, her courage, that he has generously offered to provide her with a brand new pair of glasses, free of charge, including a comprehensive eye exam to ensure a perfect fit. Maya stared dumbfounded. The man, Dr. Albright, smiled kindly and approached her. It will be my pleasure, Maya. We can get you seeing clearly again in no time. The murmuring swelled into applause, genuine and warm. Maya felt a lump form in her throat. It wasn't the award she'd expected, but this unexpected act of kindness, this tangible offer of help, felt more meaningful than any trophy. A single tear traced a path down her cheek, blurring the already distorted image of the applauding crowd. She swiped at it with the back of her hand, a shaky smile trembling on her lips. Maybe, just maybe, she could actually see her way through this mess. Vision restored. Just a little tighter here, Maya. Dr. Chen's voice was a gentle hum in the cramped backstage area. The new glasses perched precariously on her nose, the world of blurry watercolor still struggling to sharpen. He fiddled with the frames, a tiny screwdriver glinting under the harsh fluorescent light. Maya blinked, trying to focus on the peeling paint of the cinderblock wall. It swam in and out of view. From the auditorium, a swell of voices rose, familiar and comforting. It was the choir, launching into their first song. And then, unbelievably, the melody shifted. Her heart skipped a beat. The climb, Miley Cyrus. Her song, her absolute, embarrassing, sing it in the shower at the top of her lungs song. A blush crept up her neck. Had someone told them? Was this another cruel joke? But as the harmonies soared, filling the small space, a different feeling began to bloom in her chest. It wasn't mockery. It was kindness. Dr. Chin stepped back. All right, kiddo. I think we've got it. How's that? Maya tentatively opened her eyes. The cinder blocks snapped into focus, the chipped paint shockingly vibrant. She could see the individual threads of Dr. Chen's tweed jacket, the dust motes dancing in the air. It was clear. The music washed over her, the lyrics suddenly resonating with a profound clarity. Keep the faith. Just got to keep moving. She thought about the tripping, the award tumbling, the mortification. But then she pictured Mr. Peterson's encouraging smile, Sarah's supportive squeeze, even the stunned silence of the crowd that somehow felt less judgmental now. Maybe, just maybe, this wasn't the end of the world. Maybe it was just a stumble. A very public, very humiliating stumble, but a stumble nonetheless. And everyone stumbles. The important thing was getting back up. The song built to its crescendo, the choir's voices blending in a powerful wave of sound. Maya took a deep breath, feeling a newfound sense of resolve settle within her. She adjusted her glasses, the world now sharp and defined. The climb wasn't over, but for the first time all day, she felt like she could actually see the path ahead. And she was ready to take the next step. An authentic voice. The stage lights, no longer harsh, bathed her in a comforting glow. Principal Thompson, looking as if the last quarter hour had etched years onto his face, fidgeted nearby, his murmured apologies brushed aside with a wave. Sarah, perched at the stage's edge, flashed a grin of pure, unwavering belief. Maya adjusted her new spectacles, the room sharpening into focus. The sea of faces swam into view, expectant smiles, the predatory gleam of cameras, Mrs. Rodriguez's worried frown at the rear. She gripped her speech, the meticulously crafted words now foreign, even false. Each step towards the microphone felt heavy, the paper trembling in her grasp. The prepared platitudes tasted like ash. This wasn't her truth. "Thank you," she began, a slight tremor in her voice. Drawing a breath, she let the rehearsed phrases dissipate. "I came prepared with a speech. About grit, about reaching for the stars." The paper crumpled in her fist, the amplified crinkle slicing through the air. A collective intake of breath swept the auditorium. "But truly," Maya pressed on, her voice gaining assurance. "The girl who stood here moments ago felt like an imposter. Someone striving for an impossible ideal. The real me? She's the one who tripped, fumbled her glasses, and felt the sting of 1,000 eyes. That's the authentic me." She paused, her gaze locking with a girl in the front row whose eyes glistened with unshed tears. "And that's acceptable. Imperfection is acceptable. Stumbles happen. It's the rising that defines us." Her gaze roamed, taking in the entire audience. We all have them. Those awkward missteps. The moments of perceived failure. But those aren't our limits. They're our teachers. A surprising warmth flooded her, a sensation utterly unexpected. I won't deny that face-planting on stage was humiliating. But I refuse to let one clumsy moment overshadow everything I've accomplished, every hard-won lesson. I earned this award. We all did. A hushed silence blanketed the room. She noticed Principal Thompson dab at his forehead. Sarah's grin broadened, nearly incandescent. "So, thank you for this honor," Maya concluded, her voice ringing with clarity and resolve. "I'll strive to deserve it, not through flawless performance, but through genuine honesty." The silence hung for a heartbeat before it shattered into a roaring ovation. Triumph over humiliation. The applause crashed over Maya like a tidal wave. At first, she was frozen, her face burning, expecting the laughter to erupt again. But it didn't. Instead, she saw faces blurred by tears, people rising to their feet, their hands clapping with genuine fervor. A standing ovation. For her. Her gaze found Sarah in the front row, beaming, tears streaming down her face. Sarah pumped her fist in the air, mouthing, "You did it." Principal Thompson, looking 10 years younger, dabbed at his eyes with a handkerchief. A relieved smile stretched across his face. As the applause continued, Maya finally understood. It wasn't about the stumble, the spilled punch, or the initial mortification. It was about what she had said after. About owning her mistakes and finding strength in vulnerability. Her words had resonated. They had touched something real in the audience, something far more profound than perfect poise. Later, surrounded by her family and friends, the auditorium buzzing with energy, Maya felt a lightness she hadn't experienced in weeks. Her abuela squeezed her hand, her eyes shining with pride. "Mija, you were magnificent. You spoke from the heart." Her younger brother, usually a master of teasing, gave her a rare hug. Even Mr. Peterson, her notoriously critical English teacher, clapped her on the back. "Rodriguez," he said, a hint of a smile playing on his lips, "that was unexpectedly powerful." Sarah pulled her into a hug, nearly knocking the wind out of her. "I knew you could do it, Maya. I knew you had it in you." The celebration continued at a local pizza place, the air thick with laughter and the smell of pepperoni. As Maya sat, listening to her family reminisce about her childhood, she felt a shift within her. The shame hadn't completely vanished, but it no longer held her captive. It had been replaced by something stronger, a quiet confidence, a belief in her own resilience. Gazing out the window, watching the city lights twinkle, Maya realized that graduation wasn't just an ending. It was a beginning. The humiliation had been a crucible, forging a new version of herself, one who wasn't afraid to stumble, to speak her truth, to embrace imperfection. The future stretched before her, uncertain but full of possibilities, and for the first time in a long time, Maya felt ready to face it.